Welcome to our high-rise exam construction workshop. I'm your chief architect for today, and we're jumping straight into this explainer to construct an absolutely unshakable foundation for the true and fair view concept in Cambridge Accounting 9706. Look, if you're tackling your AS or A levels right now, you already know this specific topic is a massive structural challenge. It trips up so many students. But today, we're giving you the exact step-by-step blueprint to build high-tariff answers that simply cannot be knocked down by examiners.
Listen to this reality check from a senior examiner. They specifically noted that the true and fair view concept is one of the most misunderstood areas in all of accounting. Let's fix that right now. This perfectly highlights why we have to treat your exam answers literally like a high-rise building. If your structural methodology is flawed at the base, the whole thing just collapses. To put this in perspective, think of two different builders we see all the time in past papers. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is the kind of builder who just stacks way too many unorganized factual bricks. He throws every single piece of accounting knowledge onto the page, but there's zero mortar holding it together. And then you have Sam. Sam focuses entirely on a flashy exterior design, beautiful handwriting, lots of neat underlining, but completely forgets the load-bearing sentence structures underneath. When the rigorous marker review hits, both of their buildings crumble to the ground. Today, we're going to make sure you don't build like Alex or Sam.
Here's our schematic layout for today. 1. Laying the theoretical foundation. 2. Erecting the procedural framework. 3. Critical analysis problem solving. And 4. The final exam inspection.
Let's get right into Section 1, laying the theoretical foundation. Okay, so to survive a really rigorous marker review, your answers absolutely must demonstrate competence across 3 distinct cognitive domains. We're talking knowledge and understanding, analysis, and evaluation. Think of these as your core pillars, assessment objectives 1, 2, and 3. Remember Alex, our factual builder from earlier? Well, he only focuses on that first pillar, knowledge. He brings zero analysis or evaluation to the site. But true structural integrity requires you to balance all 3 of these pillars so your text blocks don't buckle under pressure.
The absolutely crucial point here is understanding exactly what goes into this theoretical architecture. Principal examiner reports explicitly highlight the candidates who integrate cross-topic connections into their definitions and causal relationships achieve significantly higher marks. It's really not enough to just define the true and fair view concept in total isolation. You have to ask, how does it relate to depreciation or to inventory valuation? When you clearly show those causal relationships, you are essentially pouring reinforced concrete right into your exam answer.
Moving on to Section 2, erecting the procedural framework.
This sequence right here, this is your ultimate blueprint. I want you to imagine a digital grid overlay dropping directly onto your past paper question. First, you identify the key elements from the provided data. Second, you apply the relevant accounting principles. Third, you execute your analysis with absolute clarity. Fourth, you verify those results. And finally, fifth, you present them in the appropriate format. You just follow these 5 steps to systematically process literally any complex problem. If Alex and Sam had just used this exact grid overlay, their structural skeletons would have easily passed inspection.
And hey, remember Sam, the builder who loved that flashy exterior but had absolutely no substance? Well, a flashy exterior design alone isn't going to save you. In fact, if you ignore strict presentation conventions, your building is going to be condemned by the examiners. Applying proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotation actually develops your professional accounting skills. It proves to the examiner, without a doubt, that you are a master architect of your subject.
Let's tackle Section 3, critical analysis problem solving.
Quick site inspection. Before we dive into this matrix, if you want to fortify your academic foundations and get weekly structural grade upgrades, subscribe to Ace the Exams right now and turn on all notifications. Okay, resume the build. When you are facing those high-tariff questions, you've got to use this specific deconstruct, solve, evaluate matrix to ensure your text blocks survive heavy scrutiny. Let's say you hit an unexpected structural crack mid-paragraph. This is exactly where I bring in the Peel matrix to my builders. Point, evidence, explanation, link. When you're making justified recommendations, you make your point, you weld it with evidence directly from the scenario, you provide a clear explanation of the accounting impact, and then you link it right back to the true and fair view concept. This technique flawlessly welds your evidence to your analysis every single time. Now, you have to maintain a really careful balance in your evaluation. You can't just list a bunch of similarities and call it a day. You've got to compare them against the differences, using strong evidence to draw actual conclusions about their relative importance. Guys, this is the literal difference between a passing grade and a top-tier exceptional grade. It's all about weighing the structural load on both sides of the equation and explicitly telling the examiner which side is more significant to the true and fair view of that specific business. The real takeaway here is that evaluative thinking isn't just mindlessly reciting facts. It's actively questioning the data and looking at it from multiple perspectives. For instance, does the depreciation method they chose actually provide a true and fair view, or is management just trying to manipulate the profit? A top-scoring candidate always questions the assumptions of the business owners. You're acting as the ultimate building inspector here, justifying every single one of your decisions with hard, numerical evidence.
And finally, Section 4, the final exam inspection.
Pay very close attention to this, because this is your absolute ultimate safety net. We call it the method mark strategy. You must always document your steps, because the process itself awards points, even if a calculation cracks mid-paragraph. Let's do a quick live audience stress test right now. Identify the flaw here. Imagine a student is given a complex graph. They have 60 seconds on the clock to extract the primary metric. They write down the correct final number, but show absolutely zero working. What happens if that final number is off by just a single decimal point? They score 0. A total structural collapse. If they had just shown their working, they would have captured 80% of the method marks. Always, always show your working.
According to the principal examiner reports, falling into any of these 3 traps causes an immediate and total mark drop. Slice 1, using the wrong accounting approach for the context provided. Slice 2, forgetting proper format and presentation, which, as we know, is Sam's classic mistake. And Slice 3, providing generic, memorized textbook answers that completely lack the specific context of the business scenario, which is exactly Alex's classic mistake. Whatever you do, do not fall into these traps. To avoid those traps entirely, you have to extract exactly what you need from the provided blueprints, meaning the texts and tables, and interpret those relationships correctly. Let's quickly recap what we call the 3 rules of sentence engineering for your final paragraph. Rule 1. Always contextualize your analysis to the specific business. Rule 2. Format your data precisely according to accounting conventions. And Rule 3, weld your points together using evidence-based conclusions and that Peel matrix we talked about. If you follow these 3 rules, your completed, flawless response paragraph will stand incredibly tall against any examiner's scrutiny.
So, take this architectural framework, apply it systematically to your past papers, and build your own path to success. Are your exam foundations truly unshakable? Grab a high-tariff question right now and test your structural integrity. And hey, to make sure your grades keep rising, subscribe to Ace the Exams, click that notification bell, and leave a comment down below with your specific subject and level. Remember, providing a true and fair view isn't just some abstract academic exercise, it's the absolute bedrock of transparency in the entire global financial world. Think about it. If your foundation isn't true, how fair can the whole structure really be? Keep building, and I'll see you in the next explainer.